Hello. I hope everybody's doing great today. Sorry. This is Glenn Wilson, President and CEO of Communities First Inc. Welcome to another session of Community Candor. Looking so forward to what we have in store for you here today. As Communities First, we're a nonprofit community development corporation located in Flint, Michigan. However, we operate across the state of Michigan. And our goal and our motto is to empower people and build communities. And the way that you empower people and build communities is by a couple ways. It's making sure people have access to information, right? And not only do they have access to information, but you also give them the resources and tools and coaching along the process to make sure that they can use what's available to them. And so we wanted to work on a way how we could put together a session to meet community needs throughout the state of Michigan to help people get the information and resources that they need to be successful. And so Renee did a great job. We kicked off Community Candor last year. I think we did about 16 or 17 sessions about ways to help people with finances that were going through COVID situations, COVID financial situations. And she did an awesome job as far as leading that whole list of activities throughout the entire year. And so we were kicking off this year as well with some more community candor and some information. But there's a few things I'm just going to ask you to do is please share this information, right? So while you're listening to me talk, take a quick second, click the share button. You can share it on YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, whatever format you're watching it on. Please just click the share button. And then also, if you're not able to hit share now and you're watching this later, still hit share later, right? So still make sure that this information gets out. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to pass this off to Renee, that's been doing a great job moderating these conversations. But please, social media platforms, make sure you register. Renee will tell you all that information. But we're so happy to be here with you today. And we're looking forward to talking to you a little bit more about what it means to pay yourself first. Renee, please take it away.
Thank you, Glenn, and welcome everybody to this session of Community Candor, Paying Yourself First. This is going to be a great session. We've got a great panel here. Before we get started with introductions, as Glenn mentioned, there is a participant survey, and we're going to be sharing that in the comment section as well as on the screen. Please, please, please fill that survey out. It helps us to improve on the information that we're providing, as well as getting you registered for gifts. And today we're giving out two $25 gift cards. So please fill out that survey because that's how you get access to those gift cards. So again, welcome to this session. Glenn did a great job describing Communities First and why we're here today. Please note that we, throughout this session, will be taking your questions live. So if you have questions or comments, please put them in the comment section, and we will refer to those as we're going through the session. So back to our panel. Let's go ahead and start with introductions. I am your moderator today, Renee Kent, the Director of Special Projects for Communities First. And I have a background in all things community development, finance, lending and investing, real estate, and programming as well. And I'm very excited to welcome to the floor. Let's start with level one, David Watkins. Would you provide an introduction of who you are and your background?
Thanks, Renee. My name is David Watkins. I am the Community Development Officer for Level One Bank. I am charged with helping low to moderate income clients reach the closing table in securing homeownership for the first time. I also help individuals that are seniors and persons with disability. We provide grants for home repairs and for bathroom modifications to make the house more accessible for those that are handicapped. Oh, I don't want to say handicapped. Those that are that have disability. So I've been in banking over 35 years. Worked for a number of banking organizations. Been with Level One since 2014. Just recently, in the last year, I won the Community Spirit Award for the state of Michigan for doing great things in our community. I'm charged with providing these opportunities for down payment assistance and grant funding in Wayne, Oakland, Macomb, Kent County, and now we've added Jackson and Ann Arbor to our CRA, which is Community Reinvestment Act assessment area. Thanks for having me today.
Thank you for joining us. And next, I'd like to welcome Velvet Williams from Consumers Energy. Would you mind introducing yourself?
Great. Yes. My name is Velvet Williams. I'm the Community Outreach Specialist for Genesee County. I've been with Consumers for about 2 years now. And, pre-COVID, I was the one at the community picnics, driving interest, fires light up the city. So you will see me out in the community, but now you get the chance to see me on Zoom.
Thank you. So glad that you're here with us. And Jessica Thalen.
Hi, thanks for having us. Yes, I'm Jessica Thalen. I'm the Associate Program Manager for our Helping Neighbors program, which is run by Clear Result, but we are authorized consumer energy advocates for consumer energy. And so Velvet and I work a lot closely together with agencies in the area to help promote the Helping Neighbors program to income qualified customers, as well as just anyone who wants to save money on their utility bills and also, improve home comfort. So we're going to talk about how we can help you guys save some money today. We're excited to be here. Thanks for having us.
We're excited to have you. It's always great to be able to share this type of information and resources with the community. Glenn, I believe you introduced yourself when you did the introduction kickoff, right? Okay, so let's go ahead and jump into this first presentation by Consumers Energy, who is going to be sharing some great resources with us to get us started on this paying yourself adventure. So we'll go ahead and get the PowerPoint loaded and get that presentation ready. And just again, while you're watching, if you have any questions, put them in the comment section and we will make sure that they're addressed.
All right. Well, again, thanks for having us. We are presenting the Go Green, Save Green Energy Efficiency for Your Home, me and my coworker, Jessica Thelen. Next slide.
Looks like I'm trying to advance the slides. I'm not sure if it's quite working on my end. Just give me 1 second. Renee, are you able to advance the slides?
You know what? Let's go ahead and take a second to regroup, and I will share the PowerPoint so that we can get the slideshow working for you.
Actually, let me see if this works. Did that advance to the next one?
Yes, it did.
Okay, very good. There we go. We got it.
All
Okay.
right.
So at Consumers Energy, we are really into the clean energy plan. And that clean energy plan, it is ushering in a new era for renewable energy, and it makes Michigan a national clean energy leader. So with the clean energy plan, we are pledging to go coal-free by 2040, to reduce carbon emissions by 90%. And you can help create a clean energy future for Michigan. Next slide. Okay, so why are we doing this? We are not just doing this because we're required, but we really believe in energy efficiency programs, okay? And we believe in those programs for a number of reasons. The energy efficiency, it helps the environment by using less energy, and in turn, it's reducing greenhouse gas emissions. Consumers Energy has helped create jobs for many Michiganders, okay? Our programs work with many Michigan businesses to provide solutions to our customers, and that's great for our state. And another reason why we're doing this is to protect the planet, empower people, and help Michigan prosper. Next slide. So this slide shows the average breakdown of heating in our home, of energy in our home rather. And as you can see, the bulk of this chart is the heating and cooling. As we know, it's really cold, especially today. So 29% on average goes to heating. 17% goes to cooling. 14 is for water heating. And think of water heating far as cleaning, right? We clean our bodies, clean our clothes, wash dishes. So we're using that energy to heat the water to do those things. Next is 13% is to our appliances, because we know one of our main appliances, the refrigerator, it never turns off. It's always running. Okay. 12% is lighting, and that varies on household. 4% is our electronics. And again, that can vary on households, especially now. We've all been kind of sheltering in place using more of those electronics. And the 11%, is other, but that other stands for energy waste. So right now we're seeing about 11% of energy being wasted, far as those that sleep with the TV on without setting a timer to turn it off, those that leave lights on, so we're seeing about 11% of energy wasted. Next slide. So this slide shows the envelope of your home. Okay. So that is what our home energy audit program does. It is tailored to seal that envelope for you. Think of an envelope, right? You want to make sure that envelope is sealed, and that's what we're doing. Okay. So these blue arrows shows leaks that are cool or warm air is seeping into the home. The baseboards, you can feel that coolness, especially now on the baseboards. If you have air leaks around the windows, you can feel that coolness. If you have a crawl space, you may have potential air leaks there. If you look around the laundry vent, you may have the dryer vent, you may have leaks around there. And even your faucet, it can be potential leaks there. The door, may feel cool air seeping in through the door, especially around the bottom. So we're coming in to help seal those leaks for you. And when you look at the red arrows, that is all the heat or cool air that seeps out of your home. Okay. And as you know, it's snow on the roof after it snows. But if you ever see a home or look at your home and notice spots on top of the roof, that means that you don't have the proper air conditioning, the proper insulation, attic insulation inside that attic. So therefore, all the heat is seeping out of your home. And what do we do when we're cold? We're going to turn up our heat, to try to keep warm. But it's defeating the purpose when we don't have the proper attic insulation. And our technicians can help you with those resources to make sure your attic is insulated properly. Next slide. Okay, this slide, this is talking about the health benefits for that will come about when it comes to the health stressors on having a properly insulated home. So common health stressors that we have seen, things that may be in your home, far as carbon monoxide, dust, mold, humidity. That can be a health stressor, but weatherization measures help prevent these things. Okay, when you have humidity in your home, we have measures that help regulate that moisture. Okay, and filters also help circulate that air. When you do that, it also reduces the health stressors, and some of the things that we see is asthma. You may have asthma flare-ups, especially from the humidity, the bronchitis, allergies from the dust and mold that may be in your home, sinusitis, and it also can cause fatigue, headaches. And when you get those things fixed, we are seeing that, it leads to less time off work, fewer doctor visits, trips to the ER. So it is a weight off your shoulder when you're living in a comfortable home. Next slide. So this slide, it shows how consumers can help. Consumers can help in many different ways. Okay. We have Wi-Fi thermostats. We have pipe wrapping. We can give you rebates on windows. Of course, we have information on proper heating, Energy Star appliances, and we help in a various ways. It's not just discounts, but mainly we're here to talk about our home energy analysis. And at this time, I'll hand it over to my coworker, Jessica, so she can go into details on the home energy analysis.
Thanks, Velvet. Yeah, and everything that Velvet just talked about is exactly what, we can do to help reduce those costs in the home. So when you're making upgrades, when you're sealing those leakages, all of these small things, insulation, those can all reduce those energy bills, that energy waste, and provide better comfort and, improve health benefits. So overall, you're paying yourself in many different ways. And so in order to participate in our program, you need to have Consumers Energy, gas, or combination service, which is gas and electric. And these are for single family homes, not for apartments with more than 4 units. Also, to qualify, you would make sure not to have any previous participation in our program. So you haven't had any energy efficiency upgrades in the past. Your account needs to be active, and you have to be willing for us to schedule an in-home or virtual appointment. And so we'll talk about the appointments next. Right now, our home analysis is done with a technician that would come into the home and do direct installs where customers could potentially receive free energy savings products, such as, what Velvet mentioned, our thermostats, LED bulbs, night lights. You may be eligible for faucet aerators on your kitchen and bathroom, high efficiency shower heads, pipe wrap for water heaters, and everyone is going to receive a customized report with additional information on ways that you can, more secure your house to, again, reduce energy and, be more comfortable in your home. Of course, during this time, we have been also doing virtual in-home assessments because of the pandemic. We know that, people aren't comfortable having technicians or other people coming into their homes. And so we offer that as well. And so a technician would do a 90-minute walkthrough on a mobile device or, your phone or iPad, and walk you through the same type of things that an in-person technician would go through. And those free energy savings items would still be available to those that qualify. The only difference is that you guys would receive those in the mail and have to install those yourselves versus the technician doing it at the time of in-home appointment. But our technicians are able to assist you guys with the install. So, we make that easy for you as well to help with that project. What we specifically want to focus on today also is our Helping Neighbors program. And so this is something that we're trying to reach out to the community that has low income or income qualified measures that may allow them to receive additional upgrade measures. So with our Helping Neighbors program, it's no cost to participate. You would schedule your in-home assessment. That's the first step. So that we would have the technician come through, build out a report, and help to install those direct measures. And then persons that qualify based on income and equipment, things of the home, you may be eligible for furnace replacement or repairs, water heaters, things like that, which consumers can help with to kind of take that next level step to help you guys with utility bills and things like that. And of course, as we reiterated, COVID-19 safety precautions is our top priority. We want to make sure that customers and our technicians are safe. So because of that, we're making sure that for those in-home assessments, we are going to be using face masks, boot covers, hand sanitizers, disinfecting the work areas, and making sure that there's social distancing practices in place. As a reminder, for in-home assessments, it's very easy for you guys to do the self-scheduling online. We have a system at consumersenergy.com where you can go schedule your appointments for free home assessments. It's easy to reschedule or cancel if need be. But again, this is no cost to participate. So the assessments are free. The direct measures that we install with the technician are free. And there's potential for low-income customers to receive additional measures, which again will be free. So this is a win-win-win for customers. On top of that, we also offer a lot of different education on our website with bill payment assistance, other tips and tricks to, help with reducing those bills and really paying yourself back. So not only are you going to reduce energy and improve home comfort, but you guys are all contributing to, making a greener and safer planet, Michigan in specific, and reducing that carbon footprint as a whole. Here are a few of the assistant programs that I just mentioned in terms of other programs that we work with, resources that we provide for additional education purposes. And so we just wanted to provide this with you guys so that you could take a look at some of the other options that are available. We work with 211, who's United Way. They help with connecting customers to services in their area. So depending on where you're at, you can call them, with no heat situations, things like that. And they have representatives that are available 24/7. We also work with state managed programs. So the home heating credit, which helps customers get tax credit for heat, and the state emergency relief through the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services. If you're past due on your bills or need assistance with repairs, they can help with that as well. And then we do have other programs that we work with through nonprofit agencies such as MEET, and Consumers Energy has additional programs such as the CARE program that helps with bill payment and arrearages, as well as shutoff protection for seniors. That's third-party notification, medical emergency protection. And we also do offer additional discount rates for seniors and income qualified customers. So go ahead and check out those on our website. To get started with your free home energy assessment, it's very, very easy. You can reach out to consumershomeenergy.com, schedule the assessment there, or you can also call our 800 number to set those up. And don't forget to use promo code Community1 so that we can make sure that we're relaying that back to Renee and her team to show how many people, heard and responded to the need for, helping out. And then we can make sure that we let them know that everybody's taking part of this. So thank you for your time today. Renee, do you want to leave it open for questions now, or do you want to save that towards the end?
Yeah, we'll definitely take any questions if they come in. Thank you so much, Velvet and Jessica, for that presentation. There was a lot of great information in there, and we have shared in the comment section that contact information that you had in your presentation. And for anybody who's interested in that presentation, please register. Again, the link is in the comments, and we'll be periodically showing it on the screen so that we can send you directly information from that presentation if you missed anything. I think some of the key things that were mentioned was that there are a lot of energy saving resources available and they're free.
Absolutely.
Right. And then depending on your income, there are additional resources that may be available. So you definitely want to take advantage of those because our topic today is paying yourself first. And the more money that you have that you're not spending on energy costs is more funding that you have to spend on yourself. So thank you for sharing that information. And then we're also going to be sharing some links in the comment section if you are a DTE customer. So if you're in Southeast Michigan, the Detroit area, Washtenaw County, we will be sharing links for DTE that have similar programs to help you save on your energy costs. They also do the assessments as well. So again, check the comments for those links. And thank you again for that presentation. So we're gonna pivot, and again, if we have questions that come in, we will address those. But right now, we're gonna go ahead and pivot to our presentation by David from Level One Bank. He's going to be talking about paying yourself first. And just to introduce that section, I thought it might be helpful to just tell a personal story. Glenn and David or share something personal about, what does that mean to you? How do you pay yourself first?
Yeah, since Dave is going to jump into his presentation, I'll just go ahead and go first on this one. But I mean, what it looks like to pay yourself first is actually, to take care of your business first, right? I think what happens a lot of times is like we're so worried about like work, and I fall into this, being a serial entrepreneur person. I'm always taking care of everything else, but you got to remember to like pay yourself and to do the same things you would do at work is the same things you would do at home, right? And sometimes we become lackadaisical of what we do at home, and we don't do the same thing. Like you have somebody that could be an accountant and they're always going through books looking for savings, and that's what they're doing all day. And then they go home and it's like, I know what's going on. And you don't spend that much time. Like for example, just when we were just talking about energy, is just, I remember just here recently, we were doing some upgrades to some different facilities that we had as far as, upgrading some different programmable wireless Wi-Fi thermostats, upgrading some furnaces, doing some other weather stripping at some of our buildings to bring down on energy costs. And then I went home one day, and not saying that our house isn't fairly tight, but then I realized there was a couple areas at home that I knew I should have took care of that I didn't take care of. And so I went ahead, got the plastic, put it around the windows, put the stopper, under a couple of the doors, to keep certain drafts from coming in, like my garage or other areas. But just making those few modifications, you could see a change in your energy bill because you're just not. So it's, for me, paying yourself first is taking care of yourself, taking care of your personal business, and making sure that you don't lose track of the things that you should be doing on a daily basis, and don't take it for granted.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that paying yourself first, when I first heard that statement, I thought it was so powerful because oftentimes folks will be working and you get caught up into this cycle where you're just working to pay bills, right? And when you step back and you say, pay yourself first, it's like, oh, wait a minute, I should be investing in myself. That's what I'm working for, right? And so that's really powerful, change of changing your mindset, right? In what you're working for and who you're working for, and investing in yourself. So let's go ahead and get David's presentation up so we can go through.
Okay. Renee, you want to share the entire screen, or at the bottom? At the bottom of the page, you see the slideshow. Yeah, there you go. Okay,
slideshow now? Okay.
Yep. Okay, so pay yourself first. We're talking about savings, everybody. Next slide. A little bit about me. I think I shared a little bit about myself early on. The Community Spirit Award. I was given a Community Hero Award by Pastor Winans over at Perfecting Church and his Community Development Corporation that recognized banking professionals. That was a very unexpected award that I had received a few years ago. So, I've had a passion for helping the community for a long, long time. So, let's go directly into our presentation. Okay, what is it? Okay, so that means when you get a paycheck, you put some of that money in the savings account before you pay your bills. Basically, that's what it is. I know Glenn, he shared a little bit about that. Renee, you also shared a little bit about, what it means to pay yourself first. The way I look at this thing, hey, you're going to always have someone to pay unless, something, God forbid, happen. You always have, something that you're going to have to pay for. So, it's easy to get overwhelmed when I'm sitting here with, bills that would take up 90% of my paycheck. But you got to know what to do with that other 10%. Next slide. Oh, I'm sorry. Next bullet. The benefits: learn to manage your money better, save towards identified goals. So you know, if you are the best thing to do in this situation is basically to set goals for yourself. Set goals for yourself, and set goals, financial goals, so that you'll know what's going in, what's coming in, and what's going out. So, you know, everyone wants to improve their standard of living. You should also have money for emergencies. It should be like a rainy day fund. You know, some of that might sound overwhelming when, you know, I'm living paycheck to paycheck, but we're going to find ways that we can manage the anxiety, right? The anxiety of not having to be overwhelmed with bills. Okay, so next slide. Okay, we got an activity. I don't know if we got time, but we can just kind of, you know, talk about a little bit. What might you need money for in the future? You want to write that down. How much will you need? How long until you reach that goal? Okay, next slide. How can your money grow? Okay, make regular payments to yourself, even in small amounts, can add up over time. The amount of money grows depends on the interest and the amount of time you leave it in the account. So making regular payments to yourself in small increments. So I want to talk about that for a hot second. So the thing is you don't have to feel as though you need to, you know, put to the side $100 or some large figure if you really don't have it, because what will end up happening is you'll end up going in and you'll end up taking it out of a bank account if you're using it for that. So, you know, you can start off with $5. Any amount that you can start off with will help you over time. Okay. And, you know, at some point, the interest earned on it will start to develop, and it'll start to look as the amount that you're saving grows. Okay. Next slide, please. Okay. The benefits to bank saving. All right. There is interest in an amount of interest is an amount of money banks or financial institutions will pay you for keeping their money on deposit with them. You know, they pay you a certain amount of interest, and this is, a lot of people know this, but you know, they use that money to lend, okay, and to invest in. So, and you can compound interest. You earn money on the previously paid interest in addition to money in your account. Not having savings accounts are created equal. Okay, can be compounded daily, monthly, annually. Okay, next slide. APY, okay, that's the yield on annual percentage, the amount of interest you will earn on a yearly basis, okay, and it's expressed as a percentage. It includes the effect of compounding. The more often your money compounds, the higher the APY and the interest you'll receive. So when comparing different accounts, you should compare the APYs to the savings products, okay, not the interest rates. Next slide. It'll add up, okay? Putting the small money aside, add up each day. Savings for just one day, $1 a day equals $365. Savings of $5 a day equals $1,825 per year. I mean, I look at it this way. I say, you know, there are so many things that we can spend money on. If you like me, I love spending money. Or, you know, if you like me, there's always a bill to pay, you know. So I always look at it as, you know, if you take the time to set that money aside, so maybe there's a pizza that you're not ordering, maybe there's or in this case DoorDash, or you know, whatever you're using, maybe you know there's a way where you know we don't have to have as many luxuries as we use, that we can put a couple of dollars to the side and try and build some type of savings. Next slide. Money savings tips: bring your own soda to work. Like we mentioned things of this nature. Skip the vending machine. So, you know, maybe you don't have to get that fridge pack, you know, that 24 pack of pop cans, you know, of cans of pop, where you might be able to cut back on some things. Maybe get, you know, just a couple bottles, or, you know, whatever you need to do to save. Hit up a matinee movie. So now, you know, everybody's watching Netflix, or, you know, instead of ordering those movies, there's things you can do. You can put in one of those old videotapes, right? One of those old DVDs, and maybe watch that. Go for generic brands at the store. They don't all have to be Ivory Liquid or Tide. You can maybe use some generic brands and save that way. I mean, I'm brand loyal, but every now and then, when you can't afford to, you have to, try and save. That's a good way to save, and keep the change. So, when you have loose coin, have somewhere that you can just put it to the side somewhere. Maybe you got, some type of large bottle or something you can just, put coin away in. Every time you get some loose coin, put it in there and watch that grow. You look up, it'll be $100 in that bottle. Okay, next slide. All right, some more tips. Pack your lunch instead of eating out. Well, we're in a pandemic, so a lot of you all should have saved because but there was still carry out. So, but at this particular time, I tend to try and minimize that. Do more cooking at home. It's easier for me to go grocery shopping than to spend and eat out every day. So you wash your own car instead of taking it to the car wash. Well, it's wintertime. You may have to get a couple car. But you may need to cut down on getting the car washed. Maybe you're not getting it washed every week. Maybe you only can get it washed like 2 times a month. With the weather the way it is, you can freeze your locks anyway. So wait to buy clothing. This is a big one. Groceries until you have a coupon or the item goes on sale. A lot of people are using a lot of their money to go shopping and with nowhere to go. It's a pandemic, everybody. You buying these clothes to look great, and everything is closed. It's no real places that you can really go to wear these new luxury items. And maybe you don't need to have that Michael Kors bag. Maybe you can maybe wait until it goes on sale, because Macy's will have sales on stuff 20, 30, 40% off. So those are ways to save. Next slide. SMART goals, okay, and SMART, we're breaking it down as an acronym: specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, relevant, and time bound. We're gonna go into these. Next slide. Okay, break it up. Save a large amount of money. Save a large amount. Okay, break it up. The total amount needed for your goal. Okay. How long do you need to reach your goal? That's time-based. And $5,000 at the end of 5 years is $1,000 a year. Okay, just a way to look at it over time. Next slide. Okay, $1,000 a year is $20 a week. See, these are measurable outcomes. Think, what else could you do with $20? Spend $20 a week on? Well, it's a whole lot. And if you like me, we spend money on a lot of things, and we don't realize what we're spending it on, right? So, sometimes if you just use it, be a little bit more conscious of what you're doing, you can look at that $20 over a year's time, add up to $1,000. That's measurable. That's something I can see. I can understand. So, this is one way to look at it. Next slide. Okay, we're still in break it up. $20 a week, 4 trips is $5 during the week, right? So would you spend $5 on a pizza, a movie, $5 combo at a fast food chain? Maybe you're not supersizing, right? $5 scratch off tickets, a whole lot of stuff. So what you buy for $5, think about where you spent 20 extra a week. So, it's just having us to take a look at the way we're spending, right? So a lot of us spend money on things that we don't necessarily need. So next slide. Overall, is this achievable? Do we need to modify it? Can we increase monthly savings and maybe push our goal out? I mean, these are things you want to take a look at. So obviously, if you're looking, and it's easy. It's so easy to go to a store, go to a grocery store, go to Target, go to the mall, anywhere like that, and just overspend. A lot of times we buy things we don't even need. So, this is just to get you to take a look at that level of spending and the way we spend, right? So, and this just wants you to take another look at, how we can increase our goals, maybe by, trimming, I call it trimming the fat off some of those purchases and maybe put it to the side, for savings. Next slide, please. Realistic goals, right? You want these goals to be attainable. Saving $20 a week right now might not be something that's attainable for you. Maybe 15 sounds more feasible, maybe 10, maybe 5. It just, whatever the point is, what you want to do is you want to make sure that you're saving something. You want to take advantage of while you're understanding what's going out and what's coming in. I mean, I know, right? When I get paid, the first thing you think about doing is what can I spend on? What could I, what ways can I upgrade here and there? But, a lot of times the first thing we need to do is how much can I save without, actually having to go back and dip into it. So that's, you want to make it an amount that you can handle. Yeah. Next slide. If you make your goal too difficult and out of reach on the short term, it's hard to stick to the long-term plan. So, that's kind of like what we just got through talking about, or maybe you can find and afford to save more short term and reach your goal quicker. So, I don't have to have my goals pushed out so far and so much where it's hard to be able to stick to it. Because the idea is don't set a goal where you're gonna have to go back and take it out. If you setting a goal to save money, don't set it so high where, okay, I'm gonna have to pinch on it. I'm gonna have to pinch on it. What you want to do is make it attainable, make it realistic, okay, and make it a goal that you can afford, where you won't, have the urge to go back and do a withdrawal or use your debit card or spend it like, you got this, it was too much to save, right? So next slide. Act on it, okay? You want to name your weekly goal, vacations, homes. What are you saving for? Spa. These are big ticket items at home in that car. College is a huge big ticket item. So you add to your spreadsheet as a bill, right? And, the thing is, if you identify what it is that you're trying to save for, it gives you a little bit more determination to stay on budget, right? So, if it's a vacation you're trying to do, I mean, hey, everybody's been stuck in the house. I know it's a whole lot of us would love to be able to take a vacation somewhere nice and warm and, tropic. Without having to drop a bundle on it, or 2 whole paychecks or whatever that number is, it's easier to be able to set a little bit to the side to plan for that vacation over time. Same thing with a home. I mean, there's a lot of different down payment assistance programs out here, but they still want you to put 3.5% down. So, my thing is, if that's the case, then, we need to find a way to put some money aside to save that 3.5%, and that's at a minimum. Sometimes they want, 10%, 20%, it just depends. In purchasing your first home, you want to try and put down as much as you can, because that'll be a lot better when it comes time to what you're going to have to finance, right? So spa visits, the kids always got something. You got to put them kids on a what we used to call an allowance, right? A lot of people don't even understand. They just give the kids whatever they ask for, whenever they ask for. You got to put them on an allowance, right? And my kids are still on an allowance, and they're in college right now, right? So, and I have to make them understand that they need to budget what it is I'm giving them, right? And they've learned to make it work. You'd be surprised what happens when your back is against the wall, what you face with, having to do. So, I think that that was a great learning experience for them, because it wasn't a huge amount, but they learned how to make it work. They learned how to save it, and they learned how to save for goals that they may have had, that they may have had to wait on, till they got enough in that account to make it happen. Yep. Always add an emergencies. So that we talked about a rainy day fund in the beginning. And you know, this is, you know, emergency can jump off on you at any time, you know, and you know, it could be a medical, it could be you know, an appliance that went out in the house. You know, whatever that emergency is, you want to make sure, you know, you don't have to borrow it from someone else if, you know, if you have an opportunity to save for a quote unquote rainy day. So, you know, $5 a week can grow into $260 a year. That's at $5 a week. Just think if it was 10, you know, what if it was 15, you know? So any amount is better than no amount at all. And you always want to be prepared for, you know, the unexpected. Next slide. Okay, define your emergencies. What do you classify as an emergency? And when I do this presentation live, I just pull people out of the audience. I pick on them, you know, because you'd be surprised. These are just basic examples, but I've heard a lot of different types of emergencies. That car breakdown, that doesn't happen to everybody. I was driving vehicles that, you know, just because they were luxury vehicles and looked good, they were breaking down on me all the time, and repairs was astronomical. I had to get up out of it and drive something domestic because it gave me a peace of mind. But, you know, a lot of times when that car broke down, I didn't have it, you know, so I had to go into lend, you know, take out a loan or go to my, you know, different accounts. And you're not trying to go to savings to take care of that. You're trying to have like a specific, you know, amount of money put to the side for this type of expenditure, right? A sick child, that could happen at any time, right? I mentioned doctor's appointments and those types of expenses can be, you know, catastrophic, especially emergency room visits and, you know, all that kind of stuff. So you want to make sure that you plan for this. And the only way you can plan for it is if you put something to the side. Do not access funds for anything that's not for anything non-emergency. So if you see that $1,500 that you saved in there, it's easy to look at that $1,500 like, you know what, I deserve a vacation. But you got to stay on budget. You got to know what you're saving for and what the reason why it's there. And you got to kind of stick to the plan. Okay. Phone upgrades, dinner out, you know, everybody wants the iPhone 11, iPhone 12. I don't know whichever one is. I still got iPhone 7, you know, and so that's not important to me right now. The 7 works just as good as the 11 for what I need it for, right? So, you know, I don't know. I'm talking to the choir with a whole lot of y'all. A whole lot of y'all got to have the 11. But, you know, that's a very expensive phone. And, you know, maybe it's not, you know, exactly entirely necessary. So depends on what you need, what you do and what you need it for. Next slide. Define where to place your savings and goals. Okay, $1,000 under a mattress 10 years will still be $1,000. Under your mattress, it is not getting you any kind of interest, it's not benefiting you in any kind of way, and it's too accessible. If you see $1,000, you know you got $1,000 under that mattress, you're gonna dip into it. I guarantee you're gonna dip into it. $1,000 in savings account earning, 1% in interest will be $1,093.69 in 10 years. That's just in 10 years. In addition to the $10,000, if you're still putting you know, money in to equal $1,000 yearly, so that interest would be more than that. And also, once you reach a certain point, you can put it into a money market account or a certificate of deposit. And, you know, there's other ways you can do to make that money grow. Okay, where to place your savings and goals. Keeping extra funds with your other spending funds can increase temptation to spend it. So you can't mix it all up together. So I have a photography business, and I work for Level One Bank. I try not to keep all the money mixed up together, because once you mix it up together, you're going to tend to spend it, right? You'll find things to spend it with, and that's not what it's created to do. So, you know, you need to keep your spending accounts separate, okay? Savings accounts, they earn interest, limited number of withdrawals, deposit anytime, safe and secure, separates from primary funds, for payment to your emergency fund. So if you open a savings account, you can't use it like a checking or at credit unions like I guess it's a thrift account. So what you have to do is there you have it basically has to stay there, because if you get any more than, I'm not sure, all banks aren't exactly the same, but there it's pretty much a FDIC law that you can't have more than 2 or 3 withdrawals per month, because if you withdraw over it, most savings or most financial institutions will close you out, because it's not designed to be used in that way. So you can make as many deposits as you want to, but they limit the number of withdrawals on a monthly basis. So just remember that. Okay, I just mentioned CDs, so certificates of deposit. So this defined timing to access the funds. Choose the terms and the number of weeks to the number of years. Accessing during the term may be assessed the penalty. So if you put money into a certificate of deposit, there are 6-month CDs, there are 12-month CDs, there are 2-year CDs, and the time period goes on and on. So if you plan on using this money, or if you're not too sure, maybe a CD isn't for you, but if you can put this money to the side for 6 months, it may be in your best interest to do that, because you get a higher rate of interest. And they have 3-month CDs. They got CDs that are 3 months. So maybe this is another way of maybe you can train yourself to not be so to not access your accounts as much, because when you can, you're gonna be penalized for going there early. That'll kind of help to condition you to develop better savings techniques. Okay, is what I'm trying to say. Some allow additional deposits, generally pay higher interest than savings accounts. They generally do. Okay, next slide. Long-term investments. Okay, so these must be well-informed before making an investment. Okay, have a trusted licensed advisor. And you'll find these in all of your financial institutions. They'll have somebody in there that's a licensed advisor that can discuss wealth options with you and ways to invest your money. Has potential to earn higher yields. So we're talking about 401ks, we're talking about thrift plans, we're talking about in long-term investment type monies, retirement plans. All of these are designed to help you create a retirement savings or savings after when you become eligible at, I guess, past 65. Okay, has the potential to earn higher yields, potential risk of loss of funds if investment doesn't perform well. There's a little bit of risk there, but you talk to your financial advisor. They'll give you good advice as to what types of investments are in your best interest, depending on what you want to do. Okay, and how you want to save and the goals that you have in retirement. So generally, the higher the risk, the higher the expected rate of return. So yeah, if the risk is a lot more than what I'm used to, then generally I am going to get a better return on it because the risk is higher. Okay, so long-term investments may have fees for withdrawing funds prior to retirement. Not quickly accessible in case of emergency. So if you need to use them right away, this is not the account or this is not the way you want to invest if you're going to try and you're going to have to go to it for anything like job loss, sudden illness, whatever. Most advisors recommend that prior to buying investment products, have a savings to cover your expenses from 3 to 6 months. So that makes sense. Next slide. Okay, so that's the end of our presentation. I hope I wasn't going too fast. I'm used to doing this presentation live, so it's a little different when we're doing it on a social media platform, but I hope you enjoy it.
Thank you, David. That was a lot of information. And don't worry if you missed anything, please fill out that survey because we'll be sending that information out so that you'll have that those resources at your fingertips. I just wanted to summarize because you provided a lot of information there, David. I think my favorite point that you made was, don't be spending all your money on the latest fashions just to get dressed up for Netflix, all dressed up with no place to go. That's not a good use of your money. But to summarize, I mean, you had a lot of good points.
And
Go ahead.
no, I was gonna say, and the supersized one was hilarious. You know, he was like, don't be supersizing the meals now. Like you don't need to pay the extra dollar something for the supersize. So we already know McDonald's and Burger King, they don't even like us no more. They like, they ain't telling folks don't supersize, you know. So let's just mess with you. Go ahead. That was a good one.
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. No supersize. Well, don't even go out to eat. You know, make your own meals if you can, because that's how you save money. But you know, to have a goal, I like the acronym that you use, SMART. Make sure that it's, you know, specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time bound. And then know that it's not set in stone. You can modify it. You know, if you set your goal and it's too high, you can change it. Or if you find that it's too low, you can change it. But you can constantly modify your goal. Use coupons. We did a session last month, excellent session where we featured, you know, a lot of tools and resources on different coupons and apps that you can use to save money. So definitely, you know, go back and check that out. And so I know, Glenn, you've got a limited amount of time here, so I want to open up the floor for you and just let you talk about anything that you thought you wanted to highlight from that presentation. I know we were going to talk about interest and planning for emergencies, but if there's anything else you wanted to point out and any takeaways that you wanted to share, because I know you've got a hard stop.
Yeah, you know, David, I mean, you definitely hit a lot of points. I think one thing that you said that, you know, that continues to resonate is just the savings piece, right? Is try not to mix your money because if you see it, you're going to use it, right? And I don't know if anybody's ever done like Financial Peace University. I think, Renee, you taught it or teach it, you know, at different times. And so about Financial Peace University, it teaches you about, you know, the money that you're going to spend, your own allowance. So Dave was talking about give your kids allowance, give yourself an allowance as an adult, right? So just like you give your kids an allowance and say, you only can spend, you know, $100 a month or $50 a month, that's your free spending money. Put yourself on that same type of allowance as a parent or as an adult, you know, even if you're not a parent, but put yourself on an allowance, and you'd be surprised at how much, when you have to start making those difficult decisions, when you only let yourself have a certain amount of money available. And that is a great tool. So imagine having, you know, you give yourself $300. That's all I can spend for the whole month on anything frivolous that I want to spend on. And that's your budget. You'd be surprised when you spend that first $100 and then you spend that next and then you down to that last 100. You really start thinking twice, like, do I really need to buy this or I don't need to buy that? So, you know, that was a good one. And then also just the interest bearing accounts. A lot of people don't pay attention to those. It's something that's easy to get missed. I've missed them before, you know, even when I was getting a little bit more sophisticated in the things that I do. You know, you can put your money in the interest bearing. Yeah, it might not produce a whole bunch of money, but guess what? If that's a few dollars at the end of the year you didn't have, that's a few dollars you have to spend, right? Or if it's you know, so if it's just an extra $100 that you made, or $20 or $30, whatever that amount is, I think sometimes we think it's not worth the headache, and really all it is really the switch of a button for a bank, and you walk in and say, hey, I just want to switch my account to this type of checking account. And they go, oh, okay, well, click, you know what I mean? And switch your bank account, and then now it's getting interest. So the other thing is you don't know what you don't know. It's always good to go into a bank and talk to somebody like David, and that's why we have him here, because David's always available to any people that we sent him, you know, from housing, home ownership loans to credit repair, anything. But you can pick up the phone and call David Watkins and say, hey, David, what type of products does Level One Bank have? Or you can call any other, you know, any other, you know, bank if you don't have a Level One bank in your community. But you can call your community development banker, find out who that person is, ask them what products do you have available for me that I can use that can help me generate some income. And you'll find out that if you have, say, $1,000 that David was talking about that's sitting in like a short-term CD, that's sitting in the bank in a savings account gaining no interest, you can put that same amount in a short-term CD at the bank, that's gaining you a couple percentage, points a year. So it's, using your money, letting it work for you. That's how you pay yourself, is paying attention to the information that's available, and do not think that don't think that it's inaccessible to you, because it's more accessible than you realize. It's just you have to have the right people, and that's why we're providing this type of network and information, is to make sure that you're getting this information, to know who you can ask questions to, how to get the information, and then also how to utilize it.
Thank you, Glenn. Great points. People often ask, how do I get started? The best way to get started is to get started. Take take some time and show a little interest. If you want to start saving money, start looking at how much money you have to put aside, and where's the best place to put it. Start doing that research. Just as you would do anything else. If you're going to take a trip and you start researching airlines to get the best rate for your airplane tickets, just put in a little bit of work and research into savings tools that are available, investing tools that are available, and that's how you get started. And it's contagious. Once you start to see your money grow, you're gonna, it's gonna catch your attention. You're gonna want to see it grow even more. So.
And let me add to what you just said, Renee, real quick. But when you were talking about the, it's contagious. It's like the people that you be around, right? And the individuals or people that's within your network. Sometimes, especially in the minority community, what happens is people are afraid to talk about money, right? They're afraid. You don't have to tell anybody all of your financial position, but it's okay to ask people, hey, what are you doing with your money, right? Like, what things, what bank do you belong to? What are you doing with your money? And if it's something that you don't feel comfortable with somebody, I'm not saying that, you're talking to your cousin, they tell you, oh, I'm buying this, and you have no clue what it is, and then you just go and do it. What I'm saying is that find a network of individuals, start opening up that dialogue and that conversation, to talk to people, because, I talk to people all the time, and certain people that were, I'm just giving an example, quick example, but, your network really has something to do with, when it says your net worth, right, and how much money you're able to save, because had a conversation with somebody, a few months ago, I do this all the time, but I'm just thinking about one particular thing where they said, thanks. But somebody had a house, they had a mortgage on it, didn't think about refinancing it. We were just having a random conversation. I said, hey, start talking about the mortgage. They kind of started feeling a little uncomfortable. I said, hey, look, you don't have to tell me all your business. I said, have you refinanced your house in like the last 2 years? They was like, no. I was like, okay. So your interest rate is probably here. I just made a guess because I knew kind of where interest rates were a couple of years ago, even with perfect credit, right? You were at 4.5%, 5%, right? That was great interest rates, 2.5 years ago. And started talking to them about this particular thing. And I said, hey, look, whatever you do, reach out to your bank and see if they're giving you refi. They said, oh, well, I really don't want to deal with refinancing. And then they were in a 30-year mortgage, and started talking to them a little bit more. And I said, look, call them, find out what it would take. This is all I told them to do. Call your bank. Talk to the mortgage person, ask them how much would your payment be on a 20-year mortgage and on a 15-year mortgage, and where would your interest rate go? They actually called me back probably about a month ago, said thank you so much, but they ended up refining their house to a 15-year mortgage at like little under 3%, right? And their payment is actually cheaper than what it was on a 30-year mortgage, and they knocked off like tens of thousands of dollars off their mortgage. So it's just like making sure you're having these conversations with people around you, right? Talking with them and being open to ask people questions. And I think that's the other thing about paying yourself, is being available to ask questions and get information that you can be successful.
Glenn, I wanted to add to that too, and you're very right about especially mortgages, because the rates now are so low, it's ridiculous. You're hearing 2.2, and it's just some crazy rates that's out here right now. If you're not having these conversations with people, because something, when a person is so used to paying a mortgage over time, they don't want to disturb it. But then what you're doing is you're shortchanging yourself, because there are some crazy rates out there that's available right now that'll help you build that nest egg, just by doing, like you said, a simple refinance. And it's real easy to do. This is for the homeowners. Now the renters, that's another situation. You know, maybe the situation, you know, it's changed so much. The landscape has changed so much in the pandemic as far as renting. What you're paying right now in a renting situation, you could be owning a house. And it's so easy to do, you know. And if there's some credit repair that needs to happen, then that's out there. But there is so much down payment assistance dollars that's available to help them get to the closing table. It's unreal. We're about to launch a program right now. We're trying to find a way to name it. That's strictly closing cost dollars, okay? In addition to the $5,000 I'm able to add from the grants that I do every year from our funder, Federal Home Loan Bank of Indianapolis. So we're layering monies to help borrowers get to the closing table. So it's so many resources out here. And like you said, if you're not having these conversations, if you're not part of it because of the pandemic, you're really losing out. And I wanted to add one more thing as it relates to savings. Don't be afraid to discuss your money with the right people or savings with the right people. Some people want to be very confidential about saving and discussing their resources and their finances and what they make and all this. If you're not having these conversations with people that are investing, I tell you, and we all know this person. I'm gonna throw her name out there because she's an expert in investing, and that's Gail Perry Mason. She has a young. And I've volunteered with her group. I've traveled with them, you know, across the country with the young investor group. And these are young, I'm talking about young men and women, young boys and girls from ages 8 years old to like 16, 17 years old. And they have investment portfolios. You know what I mean? And this is, and hey, they started with nothing. So it's kind of like, you know, if you're around the right people, you're getting the right information, you can make the right decisions as it relates to savings. So, and the babies are doing it. If the babies are doing it, anybody can do it.
Thank you, David. And all great points. I mean, and everything is so accessible these days. There's so many different apps. It's not like how it used to be. You know, when we first started in banking, you had to have like $10,000 to buy a stock. You know, those days are over. You can do it with $5. But having the right information and being around the right people and having those conversations is so important. And so we're going to go ahead and get ready to wrap up. Thank you, everybody who has joined us. We have, again, shared the link, the survey link. It's on the screen right now. If you haven't already, please fill that out. We will be sending 2 free gift cards to participants, but you have to fill that survey out. And we'll also be sharing the information that was provided today to those that register. So make sure you share that. Thank you so much, David, for your participation, as well as level 1 sponsorship of this event today. We appreciate Consumers Energy coming on here and sharing resources. And please mark your calendar, because we will be back again on February 24th, talking about Bankruptcy 101. We have a special bankruptcy attorney that'll be joining us, that'll be sharing a lot of information. So save the date for that. And that's it for now.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for joining us. Take care, everyone.
Bye, everybody.